Good evening and welcome to Gravitas. I'm Palki Sharma Upadhyay. Let's get started. The battle lines have been drawn for the 2019 general election in India. Today, as the parliament began its proceedings for the monsoon session, a no-confidence motion was moved against the ruling BJP government. 50 opposition lawmakers from the Congress, the Nationalist Congress Party, the NCP, and the Telugu Desam Party, the TDP, are backing this motion. The government isn't losing sleep over this. They have the numbers. The only challenge is perhaps to keep their flock together on the day of the trust vote, that's Friday. There's a very good chance they'll succeed. So the opposition is basically doing what it's doing, mostly to make a political point, sounding the bugle, as it were, for the big electoral battle next year. In the coming days, the Indian Parliament will be a political battlefield. Expect acrimony and drama. Unlike in the past, though, where the theatrics ended with the House adjourning, politicians in India are now caught in a 24-hour cycle thanks to social media. It's a treadmill they cannot get off. Campaigning and mudslinging continue on Twitter and Facebook. Canvassing goes on through WhatsApp. Charges are traded as millions of people in the remotest corners of India consume this political dialogue. Pundits say the 2019 election will be fought on WhatsApp. The shift from grassroots to social media has been rapid in India. So tonight we look at who has the edge, who is winning the election online. As always, we rely on numbers to assess. This is a survey that was conducted by polling agencies Lokniti and CSDS. The results show that the ruling BJP still remains the most popular party across social media platforms. It has also witnessed a slight drop in popularity across platforms. The BJP has lost 2% of the support it earlier enjoyed. The maximum losses were recorded on WhatsApp and Facebook, the two most popular digital platforms in India and indeed the world right now. The BJP's support on these platforms dropped by 6 points between January and May this year. The Congress, on the other hand, has shown some improvement compared to last year. The party is in a better shape online, but its growth stagnated in the first 5 months of this year. The question then is, why should these numbers matter? Because social media may well be the clincher in the next election. Political parties realize that, which is why their spending on such platforms has spiked. Online platforms like Facebook, Twitter and even WhatsApp are proving to be the most effective tools for political campaigning and communication. Cheap smartphones and even cheaper data has made WhatsApp the go-to medium for communication. In fact, it is performing better than Facebook and Twitter. The reach of WhatsApp has grown considerably in the recent past in India. And sample these numbers again. Access to mobile phones with internet in India has grown by 31%. The explosive growth of smartphones has enabled WhatsApp's penetration in the country, and now it's not limited to just the affluent class or the urban areas. According to a survey, WhatsApp users in rural India have doubled in 1 year. Comparing the new data with numbers from 2017, WhatsApp users from the poor and the lower income class are now in double digits. This trend is significant for another reason. It is the key to India's biggest vote bank, the youth. More than 100 million young adults will cast their votes in the 2019 general election. On WhatsApp too, the youth remains the biggest constituency. Nearly half of them use this messaging platform. Considering the high number of people moving to the digital space, WhatsApp will be the primary campaigning tool for India's political parties in 2019. The platform was used aggressively during the state elections in Karnataka, and for good reason. On New Year's Eve, remember this time, Indians sent a record 2 billion messages to fellow users. That number is enough to give you an idea of the scale of operation. In fact, some reports claim that the Congress and the BJP together created 50,000 WhatsApp groups to target specific voters. But tackling this boom in WhatsApp users is also the biggest challenge before India. Misinformation is rampant on the platform. More than 20 people have been lynched in the last few months, and these incidents were sparked by rumors on WhatsApp. The government of India has even asked Facebook, which is the owner of WhatsApp, to act against misinformation. Last week, the company took out full-page ads giving tips to users on how to spot fake messages. Considering the fact that India is WhatsApp's biggest market, the company is expected to make more changes to the platform ahead of the 2019 election. The numbers we just showed you make it amply clear why political parties can no longer afford to ignore digital platforms as they plan their campaign strategy for 2019. So where do two of India's leading political outfits, the Congress and the BJP, stand in the war online? Our next report breaks it down for you.
India's politicians leave no stone unturned during an election campaign. Till now, rallies like these were the political battleground in election season. Alongside traditional media, social media has become the latest political battleground. Political parties maintain a strong presence on leading social media platforms. The 2014 election was a turning point for election campaigning in India. Then opposition party, the BJP, effectively used social media during its campaign. The BJP was way ahead of the competition. They had more followers and an aggressive strategy to win voters in the online world. Even now, Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi remains one of the most popular world leaders on the World Wide Web. He's the third most followed leader on Twitter, just behind US President Donald Trump and the Pope. But ahead of the 2019 general election, the Congress has been trying to step up its own social media game. It's aggressively using Facebook and Twitter to attack the ruling party. Congress President Rahul Gandhi seems to be leading his party's charge on Twitter with counter-arguments and some humour. Since the elections in Punjab, there's been a marked shift in the Congress's social media strategy. But the party, which was late to the social media game, is still playing catch-up with the ruling BJP in the online world. Bureau Report, WION.
It's not very often that you see Donald Trump on the back foot. He fires on all cylinders, but now he's feeling the heat and attempting damage control Trump style. The US president's Putin worship, as some Americans called it, has forced him to beat a retreat, not a hasty one. The aggressive Donald Trump, known to brazen out the most adverse situations, was mellow by his standards today. 24 hours after he backed Putin, Trump clarified to exorcise the ghosts of Helsinki. In his defense, he said he misspoke in Europe. Listen in.
Viewed a clip of an answer.
People came to me, Dan Coates came to me, and some others. They said they think it's Russia. I have President Putin. He just said it's not Russia. I will say this. I don't see any reason why it would be, but I really do want to see the server.
In a key sentence in my remarks, I said the word would instead of wouldn't. The sentence should have been, I don't see any reason why I wouldn't, or why it wouldn't be Russia. So, just to repeat it, I said the word would instead of wouldn't.
In any event, a rather complicated sentence and a complicated situation. America had left him virtually no choice but to do a U-turn or clarify. Veteran lawmakers in the House and the Senate, Republicans and Democrats, were rebuking Donald Trump for letting down his country. His director of national intelligence made it clear that he did not share the president's view. Former CIA Director John Brennan denounced Trump's performance as treasonous. Republican U.S. Senator John McCain called the meeting with Putin a tragic mistake. This list could go on. Republicans and Democrats were quick to call Russia an adversary. Part of this was directed at European allies, an attempt to reassure them perhaps. But Trump cannot seem to make up his mind on Russia. Within hours of saying that Russia may have meddled in the 2016 presidential election, Donald Trump was back to singing paeans for Putin. He tweeted, and I'm quoting, "So many people at the higher ends of intelligence loved my press conference performance in Helsinki. Putin and I discussed many important subjects. At our earlier meeting, we got along well, which truly bothered many haters who wanted to see a boxing match. Big results will come." He then went on to say, and I'm quoting again, "While the NATO meeting in Brussels was an acknowledged triumph, with billions of dollars more being put up by member countries at a faster pace, the meeting with Russia may prove to be in the long run an even greater success. Many positive things will come out of that meeting." Russia has agreed to help with North Korea, where relationships with the US are very good and the process is moving along. There is no rush. The sanctions remain. Big benefits and exciting future for North Korea at the end of the process. That's Donald Trump for you. He did not stop at that. Slamming his political rivals, he said, and I'm quoting again, "Some people hate the fact that I got along well with President Putin of Russia. They would rather go to war than see this. It's called Trump derangement syndrome." Clearly, his attempt at damage control was a mere blip in his otherwise brash style. Trump has made a career shooting from the hip. In fact, he doesn't mince his words and often lands in controversy. In his 16 months of presidency, Donald Trump has made several gaffes and on most occasions showed defiance. But his Russia praise proved to be the proverbial last straw, even for his traditional supporters. Here's a quick look at how America lost its cool with its president.
A clean chit.
I have President Putin. He just said it's not Russia. I will say this, I don't see any reason why it would be.
A volte-face.
The sentence should have been, I don't see any reason why it wouldn't be Russia.
And back to admiration. Donald Trump's Russian roulette has left everyone baffled. His demeanor at the news conference in Helsinki portrayed him as playing second fiddle to Putin. That's what most Americans thought. Not only were lawmakers peeved, average Americans too were angry at Trump. Protests greeted the US president as he entered the White House after his Helsinki visit. Trump's clean chit to Putin on allegations of meddling in America's election didn't go down too well even with his traditional supporters in the media. A news channel that is often considered as friendly to the president, one that is known to heap praises on him, was also lashing out, saying that Trump should have defended his country. Newspapers were replete with editorial cartoons and unforgiving headlines. And if his first comments made it to the front page, his damage control too was splashed in the headlines. It only took moments for memes to flood Twitter after Donald Trump backtracked on alleged Russian meddling. The hashtag would or wouldn't was trending. Trump's defense of having used the word would instead of wouldn't was being mocked. Dictionary.com took on the US president in its own style. They went on to explain the meaning of the terms used by Trump during his news conference. On Monday, they also tweeted the meaning of the word traitor after the American media branded Trump thus. While American journalists worked overtime to question Trump, in Russia, news organizations were gloating about Putin's masterstroke. Russian media claimed that the attempts to isolate their country by the West had failed, all thanks to their president. For decades now, summits between the United States and Russia have attracted the kind of attention that other political events have failed to. But Trump's Helsinki meeting with Putin might go down in history for all the wrong reasons. Bureau Report, WION.
Well, to be fair to Trump, he's not the first leader who tried to wriggle out of a tricky situation by saying the exact same words, I misspoke. Here's a small list we've compiled of the other notables like him. Hillary Clinton, Trump's bête noire, had once claimed that she came under attack from snipers in Bosnia in 1996. She had to correct her story when an archive video showed her happily getting off the plane. Her correction said that she misspoke. Canada's Justin Trudeau came under fire last year when he called for phasing out of oil sands in Canada's Alberta. After facing a backlash from the opposition, Trudeau had to eat his words and declare he misspoke. In 2012, Republican candidate Mitt Romney sparked controversy by saying that he does not care about the very poor. At that point in time, Romney was a front-runner for the presidential nomination from the Republican Party. To stay in the race, he backtracked, and yes, he too said he misspoke. Finally on our list, another Republican, John McCain. On 2 occasions in his career, he got mixed up on Shia and Sunni Muslims. In his defense, McCain said that he stumbled on his words, misspoke. And now for our special coverage of the Pakistan general election. The man tipped to be the next Prime Minister of Pakistan is leaving no stone unturned in his election campaign. The populist Imran Khan, cricketer turned politician and now an infamous jihadi sympathizer, is not shying away from brandishing the support of terror outfits. His latest cheerleader is the Harkatul Mujahideen. The US-designated terror group has openly come out in support of Imran Khan's Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf party. Maulana Fazlur Rahman Khalil, the founder of Harkatul Mujahideen, who has links with the Al-Qaeda, has announced support for Mr. Khan. He says it's because Imran Khan has promised to create an Islamic welfare state. Khan has shown no qualms about accepting this endorsement, locked as he is in a tight contest with his competitors, the incumbent Pakistan Muslim League Nawaz, or the PMLN, in the Punjab province, and the Pakistan People's Party of Bilawal Bhutto Zardari in Sindh. Earlier, a PTI candidate, Asad Umar, had announced on social media that Fazlur Rahman Khalil has joined Imran Khan's party, but he retracted later, clarifying that the terrorist has decided only to support the party, not join it. The US government had placed Khalil on a list of specially designated global terrorists in the year 2014. And then there are other terrorists, more than 200 of them, who are contesting under the leadership of a man like Hafiz Saeed, the mastermind of the Mumbai terror attack of 2008. Raising the hackles, not just of India, but also many in Pakistan. Bilawal Bhutto Zardari, for one, the chairman of the Pakistan People's Party, has expressed concern. He was in Balochistan to meet the victims of the Mustang blast, where he said, and I'm quoting, "Unfortunately, extremist groups have been given space in the election that pollutes political process. It undermines our democracy, it undermines parliament, it undermines the position of our country, and PPP opposes the participation of banned organizations in elections." Bilawal Bhutto Zardari said that these groups eventually planned to form an alliance like the Islamic Jamhuri Ittihad. For those who don't know, it was a radical political alliance formed under the guidance of the Pakistan Army in the late 90s to take on the PPP. So who are these hardliners who are contesting this time? Imran Khan's Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf is a clear sympathizer of terror groups. His pronouncements have made him a poster boy of the radicals. He calls the Taliban the good guys. He justifies the holy war, as he puts it, in Afghanistan. He wants women's rights to be in line with the Quran and Sunnah. And he calls for an Islamic welfare state in Pakistan. The jihadis are the army's tried and trusted friends. Whether it's the viciously anti-India Lashkar-e-Toiba or the rabidly anti-Shia Ahle Sunnat wal Jamaat, both have the army's backing in Pakistan. Media reports say many of the election contestants this time are Lashkar terrorists. Ahmad Ludhianvi of the Ahle Sunnat wal Jamaat is a prominent example. He was taken off the 4th schedule of the Anti-Terrorism Act to enable him to contest this election. Aurangzeb Farooqi will also contest, even though he's a listed terrorist. Also contesting is the Tehreek-e-Labbaik Ya Rasool Allah. It was registered to contest last July. It appears to have built up a sizable following in Pakistan after it paralyzed Islamabad last year with its protests. Even if the mainstream parties like the PMLN and the PPP are able to hold their own, a small jihadi presence in parliament could mark a major turn in Pakistani politics. And the biggest gainer could be a man who has so far failed to take off in politics. Imran Khan's Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf is sensing its best opportunity so far to seize power after 2 decades of struggle. Here's a look at the party, which had been dismissed as a political fling of Pakistan's favourite playboy.
Founded in 1996, 4 years after Imran Khan led Pakistan to World Cup glory, the Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf was never seen as a serious contender. This was the era when political contests in Pakistan were bipolar. With the charismatic Benazir Bhutto heading the leftist Pakistan People's Party and Nawaz Sharif's conservative Pakistan Muslim League Nawaz ruling the political roost. But the general elections of 2018 are a different ballgame altogether. A ballgame in which Imran Khan's Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf seems to be in its element. The once formidable Pakistan People's Party, now led by 29-year-old Bilawal Bhutto Zardari, is fighting to stay relevant, while the PMLN, plagued by Panama Papers case and reportedly targeted by the Pakistani deep state, is in complete political disarray. The Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf, which means Pakistan Movement for Justice, has risen up as a formidable power. What sets the party apart is the way it has positioned itself as a centrist party which is willing to accommodate individuals of all ideological hues. On the face of it, Imran Khan's Tehreek-e-Insaf has promised to establish a welfare state where the education, health and employment for all citizens is the state's responsibility. Imran Khan's party has also promised to abolish personal income tax for all Pakistani citizens. On the face of it, Tehreek-e-Insaf has stressed on freedom of religion and has promised to establish a modern Islamic republic. Electorally, the party has made steady gains. In the 2002 general elections, Imran Khan managed to win a seat. Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf boycotted the 2008 elections, but the turning point came in 2013, when the Tehreek-e-Insaf received over 7.5 million votes to emerge as the second largest party in the terms of vote share and also won the third highest number of seats. For the first time, Imran Khan's party has also wrested power in the Khyber Pakhtunkhwa province. Interestingly, the Tehreek-e-Insaf, with a total of 10 million members, claims to be Pakistan's largest party. Imran Khan too believes that in this election his party is a serious force to reckon with.
PTI is in all 4 provinces. It's not going to be its last chance. But I believe that it is our best chance. I mean, we now, for the first time, will be going to elections prepared.
However, Imran Khan's position vis-a-vis India is a problematic one. In the past, he has raked up the Kashmir issue and has stopped the intervention of the international community in addressing the Kashmir question. The 25th July general elections look like a tripolar contest, but with the other 2 parties in disarray and Pakistan's deep state supposedly aiding Imran Khan's political venture, that Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf's time may just have arrived.
मुझे उम्मीद है, मुझे अल्लाह पे मान है कि एक नया पाकिस्तान बनेगा इंशाल्लाह चलना तब है.
Bureau Report, WION.
22,000 people were on a gunman's trigger target in Las Vegas last year. 58 died, more than 850 suffered grievous injuries. The man, the attacker, took aim from the 32nd floor of a hotel to kill as many people as possible. Now, the very same hotel has done the unthinkable. It has sued more than 1,000 victims of this massacre to avoid being responsible for any security lapse. That's right. The massacre victims have been slapped with a lawsuit because this luxury hotel in LA wants a squeaky clean record for itself. It was the worst mass shooting in modern American history, and this perhaps is the worst strategy to get a clean chit.
This was the worst mass shooting in the modern American history. 58 people died and 851 were injured when a man named Stephen Paddock sprayed bullets on 22,000 music lovers at a concert in Las Vegas in October last year. He fired for 10 minutes non-stop, taking aim from the 32nd floor of the Mandalay Bay Hotel to ensure maximum casualties. Now, the bosses of this hotel are suing around 1,000 victims whom you just heard running for their lives, or some who are not even alive, and even their bereaved relatives. It's a tit-for-tat reaction by the hotel corporation that was sued in the aftermath of this massacre. About 2,500 people, some of them survivors of the attack and others relatives of those people who were killed at this music concert, sued the mega corporation, accusing them of not giving adequate security or properly trained staff. But MGM, the parent company, wants the negligence charge dropped and is now using a post-September 11 law called the Safety Act to defend itself. It's because the law gives them a big advantage as it limits liabilities when a company or group uses services certified by the US Department of Homeland Security in the event of a mass attack. So, the hotel management claims that it can't be held accountable as the security firm it contracted for the concert was approved by the Department of Homeland Security. With time, these legal battles will be fought in the court. But this lawsuit has come as a shock to many victims. Various support groups are calling it as re-victimizing the victims. Many of them suffered post-traumatic stress disorder. Some lost their jobs and some were even on suicide watch because of a deep state of depression they had slipped into. The hotel doesn't want money. It wants a clean chit. A clean chit to be given by those who've either died or those who almost died. In simple words, the luxury hotel doesn't want any liability. Bureau Report, WION.